Here's how I made an AI Battle Royale with the help of AI. When AI started blowing up in the beginning of the year, I was so fascinated by it and I thought how cool it was that people were getting computers to do things for them. Then, just recently, I got the idea of trying to make my own AI. Now, I did try and learn some machine learning through Unity, but that was a little too complicated for me, so I tried to make my own extremely basic AI and see them fight against each other. So my first idea was just to go straight to ChatGPT and ask him how to make an AI. See what he says. I'm not reading all that. I think it's a little too complicated for me. What I do know after doing a little more research though is that the basic AI needs a few behavioral states and then some knowledge of its surroundings, and it can make decisions based on that. So, first things first, we need a model for the AI. And I don't know much about Blender or 3D modeling, so it looks like we're going to have to start with a cube. Then I gave the cube another cube to shoot out of. So basically my idea for the AI is going to be, it's going to be wandering around, running around, looking for enemies. Then when it gets close enough to one, it's going to stop and fight it. Then, if it gets touched by the storm, it's going to run to the middle until it's safe. Now, the way I'm going to make the fighting isn't going to be where they take damage from getting hit or the bullets. I'm going to make all the damage come from the storm and then crank up the knockback effect from the bullets. I feel like this will add more intensity and make it more interesting to watch towards the end. Then I started writing some of the code for that cube. This code right here basically tells the cube that if there's an enemy in a certain range of it, it adds that enemy to a list, and then it randomly selects one out of that list to attack. I also made the shooting at a random speed. Now it's working okay, but it all looks a little static still. Kinda reminds me of back in the day during wars when they would just get feet away from each other and fire. Anyways, I added some jumping and dodging. These are indicated by those white puffs of smoke coming off the players, and these are also at random times during the attack mode. I've learned that adding random attacks and random jumping makes it a lot more fluid for the AI, and I do feel like it added a lot more depth and a lot more intensity to those battles. Also, I was messing with the way they moved around, and I turned their drag way up, and now they fall slower to the ground, and it kind of reminds me of anime battles. Now they're floating around and lining up their shots in the air as well as on the ground, and it turns into a fight in 3 dimensions. So I made it a setting going forward if I ever wanted to switch between it, because I really liked how it looked. Next, I made a moving storm, which basically just shrinks by a certain value over the time, and it does have some bugs, like when you go into it, the middle looks invisible, or how the corners get darker than everything else. But basically the way I made it was I just put some colored cubes together and I just have them shrink in place. Now up to this point, I think it's looking pretty good, but I feel like something's missing. That something is walls and obstacles. So I made these cubes. I know it's not too creative, but I was feeling lazy and I added some code to give the cubes some more vision so they'd be able to see if there's an obstacle in front of them. So now if they detect a wall, they don't shoot and they look for a different spot to go and hide. Finally, I made the camera system, and I wanted to make something cinematic, so this is where ChatGPT comes in. I asked it how I can make a smooth camera targeting system so I can smoothly switch between the different enemies. This worked perfectly, however I still wanted a way to have full control, so I added some movement with the arrow keys, and I made it so the mouse looked around, and now you can switch between these 2 modes with the press of a button. Next up is the art. This is where some more AI tools come in. I created the skybox with a tool called Leonardo AI. It's not made for making skyboxes, but I like the way it looked. It doesn't look perfect though because you can see the crease in the sky, but I really like the whole vibe it gives. I think it complements the storm really well with its dark colors. I didn't want to make full models for this, so I went on the hunt doing research for other ways to make it look good, and I came across shaders. I don't know how to make them, but I saw this really cool toon shader on the asset sort and I decided to get it. It added so much to the game and made it look so much better. I gave it to the player, which gave the player a subtle outline, and I gave it to the bullet, which gave it a bit of a glow. I did it also to the storm to make it look more vibrant. The next thing I added was this particle effect to show when the player jumps or dash. I feel like adding particle effects is a really easy way to add detail and just make it more alive. I really love how this looks when I have the anime playstyle on as well. The next one is this effect for when they get hit. It's just a bunch of red circles, but I think it looks pretty good, and you can see like a cloud coming off from it. Kind of reminds me of Roadrunner when he looks down and then he falls. The final one is this lava or explosion type of effect. I really like this one, but sadly if you're using the auto camera lock, you don't get to see it because the camera changes right when the player dies, but still looks pretty good. Also, the floor is still that prototype material because I didn't know what else to put for it. I was thinking of adding some different terrain and making some hills, but I didn't think the AI would like that. Comment any ideas you have for that. So, that's basically how I made it. Now let's watch a fight.
Alright, looks like we got Rob starting out here fighting Aaron. Just dodging everything he can. Like he's getting pretty good at it. Rob is looking for a new place to go. Going around the boxes. I feel like at this point in the start of the match you just want to be safe and hide. Looks like we're switching over, spectating someone else. Who's this over here? Looks like we got Aaron again. Spinning around them, seeing what they're up to. Looks like they got some good dodges. Wow. Jumping out of the way of all those bullets coming at him. Switching the camera up here. Looks like he's just looking for a safe place to hide. I feel like this ending's gonna get really chaotic. No one's really taking any damage yet. Cameron being the first one, taking a few ticks here. Running around, running in. Oh boy, here it goes. Luke is who we're watching, going to free cam now. Getting a full wide out view of everyone. You can see how everything really ties together really well. Looks like some people have the strategy of just trying to hide underneath the box down there. I feel like that's really going to work out. Looks like we have first death too. Rob is running in, just trying to stay on top of the box. People are dying left and right here. Starting to go up too. Rob, 1 health. Luke is on 1 HP. 1 tick to the storm and he's gone. So we got someone hiding behind the box. Joe? Rob? So we got a fight here in the end. 1v1 maybe? Oh, there's a third one hiding on top. 1 HP's gone. What is he doing? What? He's just spinning in circles. Is this some new strategy or something? It's like Bob can't get up there. Rob is just spinning. What is he doing? It looks like he kills himself. Rob wins.